Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Damaris and today I am going to be talking about my C-section. When I found out that I had a cesarean, then of course, I went to YouTube and I watched a bunch of videos, and this is just my experience, what I wish I would have known, things that others maybe didn't tell me, etc, etc. Into the story because I have a little guest here and she's gonna take her nap, but I'm gonna start this before, see how far we get. So let's get into it. A little backstory on why I even needed a C-section in the first place. Definitely not planned. It's a little bit unexpected and frustrated with the whole situation. At first they said the baby is she's in position to come out, and then the next time they said, oh, she's to the side, like her head was by my rib cage. And then the next time they're like, oh, but she could still move, like there's time. And then as it got closer and closer and closer to her due date, she was still not one. So of course, they started giving us options, and they started telling us, okay, well, she's not moving. Of course, I'm very discouraged. I've been planning this natural, beautiful birth this whole entire time. I've been researching and reading books and listening to podcasts and just filling myself with information. I started doing the spit babies. I don't remember exactly all the terminology. Oh, it didn't end up working. It wasn't in my power that she wasn't moving. Like, the doctor even said, we don't know why she's not moving. Maybe there's a reason, and it was just a lot to kind of comprehend and kind of try to understand why everything was happening the way it was when I wanted a beautiful, natural, even unmedicated birth. In my head, that was what I was shooting for. And here I am getting the news that I'm gonna need a C-section. So you could plan all you want, but in the end, God decides what he wants, and it's not in our control. It's the last thing they were gonna try, to see if they could move her with his hands. Long story short, I ended up not going with the ECV. I just, again, didn't feel peace at all, and so they scheduled me. ECV doesn't even assure that the baby's gonna stay head down, so what they were gonna do is try to flip her manually, and if she didn't stay head down, they would have to do a C-section anyway, or they would, if she did stay head down, they would try to induce me. There were so many things that were we're just not lining up, and it's gonna be more rushed or more emergency than for me to just plan it out and go into this a little more calmly and just put it all in God's hands. We're gonna get into the actual C-section experience. So they do prep you in the room before you go into the OP, check your vitals, to baby's heartbeat, and then they're gonna prep your scar area where they're gonna open you up. So they did shave me a little bit. It's very low. The cut is very, very low. So they just kind of prep that area and wipe it and disinfect it and all this stuff to go in. I remember it being the brightest, scariest room ever, because there was machines and lights and all the tools, and then the bed where it wasn't even a bed, it's a metal slab where they're gonna put you and cut you, and that to me was, I feel, the most intimidating part. Was just oh my God, it took me by surprise. So once you go in there, my husband wasn't even able to be in there when they're prepping me and everything. Gave me the shot, which is in your spine, and then that numbs everything. After that, they put in the catheter, which everything go numb, from your hips down. Everything's just tingly and really weird sensations. Nurse was so nice. My nurse was so sweet. You have to bend this, and then they give you the shot, but she was just being so sweet. She was rubbing my hair and talking to me, and because I was so tense and super nervous. A bunch of nurses start coming in, and the room just fills up that fast. You nurses have to be there in case something goes wrong and quickly. And that also was pretty intimidating because there was like 10 people in there. And I'm like, and then the doctor comes in and he's like, all right, are you ready? Laying there. Then my husband came in and then they're like, all right. Explained that how many layers are gonna cut. And then when they say uterus, that's like the last section they're gonna cut before the baby gets here. So they explained, when you hear that, that means your baby's literally seconds away. Something's happening down there, you just can't feel it. So I think that part was all great and dandy. It all happened so fast. Like I went in, I think at 2, she was born by like 2:40. So everything, like from the prepping to the procedure, like I felt like it was that fast. Like she was here in like 30 minutes or less. So that part was pretty sweet. Like you don't feel anything. And your baby's out, boom. And then I heard her cry, and that was like when I completely lost it. Just like her little cry. Oh my goodness, I'm never gonna forget that. And I just, like, my world just instantly turned around. Entire life. So yeah, that was you screaming. You were crying. So after that, I told them right away, like, I wanted skin to skin, even though it's not really like their whole body on you. It's more like their little face on you, and like your chest area is uncovered. So they'll put the baby there, and I definitely wanted that, like 110%. And I told them that before I went in. It was good with her, so they could do that. I know some cases that something's wrong with the baby and they just have to take the baby, which I'm so thankful that didn't happen. I could hear her crying, and my husband was with them, you know, taking her vitals and measuring her, this and this and this. For me, the easiest part was the actual C-section itself. The hardest thing for me is once the medicine started wearing off to normal with my body, and people that I had talked to, they said the recovery is easier. There's like the best thing ever, right? Not the case. Not the case. It was so hard. I literally couldn't walk. Charged me from the hospital, and I told my husband, I'm like, I cannot walk. How am I supposed to get out of here? Like I cannot physically get up and walk. Once the medicine wears off, it's just bad. It's so, like, it hurts so much. And you have a little baby that you're trying to take care of, and it's just so hard. I'm like, like I would forget that, you know, I had a cut right there. I hated even looking at it. It gave me anxiety, like thinking that it was like gonna burst open, or like I just had the weirdest time with like the whole scarring and like cut situation. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to do anything remotely to even like think about it. I used a walker, a literal walker, to get around the room because I just could not, like, I would walk literally like a little grandma. Like I would take one step and then another step, and it was just like, I don't think that's the case for everyone, because it took me, I think, 6 to 8 weeks to completely feel like myself again. Not even like myself again. Like I was somewhat better. It was not it for me. Like in my head that it was such a horrible recovery that I hope and I pray that a VBAC for the next baby, Lord willing, will be a possibility. Because yes, I would do it 100 times over again just to have her. And yes, I would do it for another baby. Whew, but like thinking about it, it's like bringing back all these flashbacks, because like I couldn't even lay down to sleep really. I could at the hospital because, you know, the bed reclines and you could do a bunch of stuff with it. But at home, I slept with my back against the wall and my legs like out. That's how I slept for like 3 weeks. And I was in so much pain. They like give you shots so you don't get blood clots, and that was like, oh, in your stomach, it was like, oh, so horrible. Like I need more meds. Like it's just so much pain. It was not traumatic. I wouldn't consider it traumatic, but it was a very scarring experience. On top of all of that, I had extreme constipation, which I know happens with vaginal tube, but for some reason this is TMI, but I was like bleeding when I was going number 2. It was horrible. Another thing that I want to end with here is I see you. Sneezing and just like the day-to-day thing was atrociously painful. Like, it hurts so bad. If you know me, I love to laugh. I remember there was one point where my mom and I were like, there was something so funny in the hospital, but I'm like, Mom, stop. Like, I was like terrified that my scar would like burst open. That was I was like, Mom, stop. I remember I was like crunching down. I'm like, Mom, stop making me laugh. And then, you know, when you're not supposed to laugh, it makes it like 10 times worse, and it just makes it that much harder not to do what you're not supposed to. Elsie, just close the door. It's physically so painful, but it is so funny. Like, I can't help it. And I think that was one of the things. It was like, I was just so scared. So I definitely do it again. But again, I also tell my friends, like, I feel like I never gave birth, because yes, everyone says that's an easy way out. Although a lot of people now are understanding that it is not the case at all, especially the recovery. They're literally cutting 7 layers of your skin open. Like, how is that the easy way out? It's just birth is birth. And it wasn't meant to be easy, first of all, because the Lord said that there would be pain no matter how the baby would come out. To just walk, like, just to be a normal human after. I think what I would change is, like, I would sit on pillows more often, because I think I would just maybe add more pressure, like put a band. I did do a band, but it was just hard to move. But I think I would take care of like that area a little more, just so I would have ease and it'd be a little more snug and more pressure there. Recovery was going to be, and I was not expecting it to be that hard at all, especially from what I heard. You want to do a C-section again? I would say no. I don't want to. I want to experience a natural vaginal birth. Lord willing, they realized that her head was against, her placenta was preventing her from flipping, so that would have not been a good thing at all. Just a lot. I know people that have 4, 5, 9 C-sections, so I didn't think it was the easy way out whatsoever. Not at all. So that was my personal experience. I know that's not the case for everyone. I know some people have amazing experiences either way, and until you go through it yourself, I don't think you'll fully comprehend what goes into it. So I know that's why I wanted to film this, because I didn't have a so positive experience. If someone tried to move her, it could have really hurt her, and that gave me so much peace of, wow, I thank you, Lord, that you gave me wisdom enough to make the right choice for her. Because in the end, all that I cared was about her. She's looking at me right now. She was safe and she was healthy, and the Lord answered all those prayers. He gave me so much peace. The whole recovery, but has a bad experience. But I just wanted to say, not everything, it's good to be positive. It is so good to be positive. But also, reality is not everybody has the most amazing positive birth story. So if you could help me pray for next baby, I would love a VBAC, and I would love to be sitting here 2 years from now and saying, I had a VBAC and it was a positive this and this. Like, that is such a dream of mine. It's just fun for me, and like reliving all this stuff is good. It's good.